Everybody, and welcome to another day for Pulsechain and Hex, and we're going to have fun today. It's going to be probably a shorter show than normal, but we're going to be covering how Hex has gone full DeFi from Richard Hart. We're going to cover that towards the last end of the show, actually, and then of course we're going to get into stocks, crypto, and Pulsechain. Definitely looking bullish, running into the end of this year, like a nice little Christmas rally. Potentially even out the other side into January and February. We will see. And of course, we're going to talk about TitanX big day today. Obviously, that's a new protocol, not on Pulsechain, but on Ethereum that may come to Pulsechain. You never know. And of course, that is from Jake Sharp, an influencer sort of, across all those different projects. So, we're going to have a bit of fun. Let's see what else is going on. Let's see who's in the chat before we get in all the good stuff. We've got a few people in the house. We've got Rod Fitzpatrick. Good morning, Superman and Superman family. Good to see you, Rod. Yeah, it's a sunny day here today, which is going to be nice. So I've got to do a bit of gardening and go for my walk and things like that. Should be good. We got Sandy Beach in the house. Hello, Hex Token, everybody. Good to see you, Sandy. Sandy crushing it, of course, with the health and safety updates. Health and safety. I don't know why I say that. Health and fitness updates there from Sandy Beach, and definitely give her a follow. And share around, retweet, and get fit. That's what we say. We got Archie in the house there. Hey, Archie, always good to see you. And of course, Brian, our community leader. What's up, folks? Good to see you. And who else is in there? Joey Torres. Big shout out. Hi, all. Good to see you, Joey. Joshua Hill. Good times ahead, you all. Absolutely. And we also got Trenton in as well. Hi, everybody. Good to see you too. And a big thanks from Sandy. Pretty nice. So you got a few moderators in the house there, Sandy. Archie, and of course our community leader Brian always do an amazing job on YouTube and in our Discord, so big shout out. All right, let's get into it, straight into it. Bam, let's go. Beep, 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 beep. The main sound effects, just the way it goes. Hey, we got Trippy sneaking in there. Hello all, a full DeFi mode on. That's right, that's how we go. Never go full DeFi. Yeah, we're going full DeFi. All right, so bam, let's add it in. And of course the stock market, we're starting off with that because, the correlation's still there. I know that we're talking about quality assets moving to gold and treasuries and putting crypto on that with the BlackRock category. But, I think we've still got that correlation on and off again at the moment. Dow in the biggest weekly gain of 2023 as monthly job gains slow. So good news. We want good news in the stock market because we want to have a good crypto rally, right? We don't want to have a bad crypto rally. We want a good crypto rally. We've got the Dow Jones there is up 66/100%, up 222 points again, to end of 34,061. So fantastic there on the Dow Jones. Remember, that's the top 30 industrials. The S&P 500 is up almost 1%, 40 points to 4,358. And I keep reminding you of FundStrat's Tom Lee and talking about heading towards 4,800 by the end of the year. So he's feeling pretty bullish on that move. We're going to watch a little clip about that in a minute on S&P 500. The NASDAQ is up 1.4%, 184 points to 13,478 on the NASDAQ. So really good risk-on day for the stock market. Volatility index down almost 5%, and the US dollar down 1% versus its trading partner. That's a pretty big move down, 104.9 on this dollar index there. The commodities, we've got West Texas and Brent oil down 1.9 and 1.95% respectively. So basically down 2% today, about $1.60 each. And West Texas at $80, almost just under $81, and Brent oil just over $85 there. So nice little pullback there as well. Gold is sitting at just under 2,000 exactly, but it's up 30% at $6.40. People calling, gold to be on an ascendancy. going to be rallying, of course, and some targets out there as high as 3,000. We will see whether it can do that. Silver is up 2%, and that's 48 cents. A big move for silver there, $23.33. And like I say, silver's really waiting for that interest rate pivot, maybe next year, but we could have a slow rise up. And then if we do get a pivot, then silver could really have a good chance of rallying. Let's get into the commentary, though. Softer October jobs report bolsters expectations of a Fed pause. We've talked about that the last couple of days. The economy added 150,000 jobs in October. So we're talking about the United States, of course. Less than 180,000 expected and down from 336,000 in September. So remember, the Federal Reserve is trying to trade off inflation for jobs. So trade off jobs for inflation, so they get better inflation results trading off jobs. So this is kind of a good report from that point of view. The unemployment rate ticked higher to 3.9% from 3.8%, while average hourly earnings rose 0.2% below expectations. So you got less wage inflation there as well. The fewer than expected jobs created in October and easing wage pressures stoked investor expectations that the Fed is unlikely to deliver another rate hike this year. Given Powell's dovish tone, so you either have a hawkish tone, which is aggressive rate rises, which we've already seen, or you have a dovish tone, which means not so aggressive, maybe more expansionary policies. Expand more, either not aggressive or maybe even expansionary monetary policy. At the FOMC meeting this past week and the softness of this data, it is hard to see how the Fed might hike again in December. And of course, we had the market looking like it's not going to do that. It is very likely that we already saw the final hike for the cycle in July, says Jeffrey. And that's what we talked about here, is that we may very well have had the terminal rate at 5.5% on the federal funds rate. So fingers crossed for that. That's good news for the rest of us. But once again, the Fed has officially paused. Whether they do another one, we will see in the new year, but not looking likely this year, especially with this report. Treasury yield slumped, with the yield on the 2-year Treasury note falling 14 basis points to 4.83%, and while the 10-year Treasury yield slipped 11 basis points to 4.559%. And of course, as part of the play for the Federal Reserve is that Treasury rates are going up. They're pretty much around all-time highs, and that's also playing a role in bring inflation down. So that's kind of the play there. We're going to go to oil, of course. Oil prices fell to a second straight weekly loss, pressured by easing fears of supply disruptions in the Middle East as concerns cooled about a wider conflict in the region amid a lack of escalation, apparently, in the Israeli-Hamas war. And of course, meanwhile, the recent data out of China has underscored that uncertain demand outlook in the world's top importer, adding further pressure on demand. So we did see that pullback in the commodities of oil there, which is kind of cool. So that's pretty much the stock market, but we're going to get into a little video clip. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Is about the bullishness of the stock market potentially for the end of the year. This is the bullish case scenario. So we're going to have a look at this, and I'm going to change my view here for the first time down to this view, which you probably haven't seen me use before, and we're going to play this video.
Stocks first. So
sure.
The S&P, this big run up since the 27th of October, if you can pull up a chart. First of all, what was it reacting to? And like I mentioned near the beginning, is this momentum going to continue?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just an oversold. At this point, it's just...
So just as a clarity, that's the S&P 500 chart. And of course, we talked about Tom Lee, the fund strat manager, talking about heading up towards 4,800 this year. And of course, it's currently at 4,358. So it's been heading in the right direction the last couple of, this week in particular. So we'll play that again.
First, so
sure.
The S&P, this big run up since the 27th of October, if you can pull up a chart. First of all, what was it reacting to? And like I mentioned near the beginning, is this momentum going to continue?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just an oversold. At this point, it's just a technical bounce. And, it was very oversold last week. And we're really just seeing an oversold buying back phase. We're seeing, I think, a lot of people who are short starting to cover their shorts. When we look at the short-term price action, the key thing with the indexes is if there's ever a price gap, gaps almost always get filled. Today, we have a huge price gap in price. And the last time we saw a big price gap over here, the market eventually had to come back and fill that gap. And so I'm expecting we're going to see some type of pullback over the next couple of days to this level, but gaps on charts can be seen as an exhaustion move. Price usually has to come down and fill. I don't know why, but almost 100% of gaps on the SP 500 get filled at some point. Maybe the market makers, there's standing orders. I don't know what it is, but we always look at gaps. If there's any gap at the opening bell, you can either buy the gap down, you can fade the gap if it's a gap higher, but huge gaps like this, especially when we have like news. Yesterday, we saw the markets rip higher in the afternoon with heavy volume. That excitement, that emotional wave carried over to today, making this big gap, and it's pushing higher. So this to me is an emotional move. When we look at the volume ratio on the New York Stock Exchange, everybody's just piling in, buying everything they can, more or less hand over fist. They don't care what they pay for it. And that is usually a sign that this is a news-driven emotional move and is most likely going to be given back. And we can see here, there is a series of lower highs, a series of lower lows. I mean, just visually, this isn't anything out of the norm. It's been a pretty strong pop, almost 5%, but we've seen these pops over and over again here. But not only, just with this correction, we can go back to all these other ones on the way down. These are all 5 to 10% pops. And that's what happens in a downward trend. Believe it or not, some of the strongest rallies are during downtrends. And it's just like this. You get these powerhouse short covering, knee-jerk reaction, buying action in the markets. And at this point, it's really just a bounce. It'll be interesting to see if we can get some momentum, if it can hold this level or build a bullish chart pattern, like a little bull flag on the chart, and then send us higher into the end of the year. Seasonality-wise, this is a bullish time of the year. So we'll just have to see if this is a bounce or the start of a new uptrend before, we get too excited.
Generally speaking, does the time frame in which the bounce happens, does that matter? For example, let's say it bounces 5% over the course of 2 weeks versus the course of, let's say, 3 days. Would there be a difference in your analysis then?
Yeah. The faster something moves, something that goes straight up usually comes straight back down. If it goes up on a 45-degree angle, takes a long time to get there, it's sustainable. It could stay there forever and just keep going higher. So, and that's, that's volatility. When we get a high volatile market like we're in now, we have these really sharp drops. We got these super sharp rallies. That's volatility. And because they're sharp drops, we're getting sharp bounces. And it's just ping ponging. Now we got a sharp bounce, so we're probably going to have a sharp pullback. So one leads into the other, right? And the quicker something moves, especially if it's based around a news event, the less you can trust it going forward.
Okay. And basically, you don't think this run up is going to be sustainable then because of how fast it's moved up?
I think it could pull back for a couple of days or trade sideways. I would actually prefer to see it hold its ground or pull back a little bit and then rally up to, the July highs or maybe even, the 2022 highs by the end of the year. There's potential that we could have a year-end rally that is pretty strong. I would love that because it's great opportunity to the upside. But again, right now we're in limbo. We're just waiting to see if the downtrend is going to continue or if we're going to actually see a year-end rally, like a bottom here, get formed and then start a new uptrend.
So I thought it was a cool little outlook there. And of course, looking bullish. And of course, Tom Lee's fund strat manager is also bullish about, rally into the end of the year at least. So that gives us a nice window of opportunity and potentially at the beginning of next year as well. So kind of cool there on the stocks. I want to cover that in depth, and I think we've done that. So let's get back into the next session here. Obviously, we're going to quickly wrap this up with the Fed rate monitor and see how that's going as well. We got a long way to go, 5 weeks and 4 days to go until the next meeting in December, and looking like no change. Look at that. The market has gone amazing. We had 20% here, remember? It's gone down to 5% with that jobs report from the looks of it. And so we got 95% expecting a no change. So we may have very well had the interest rate pivot, the pivot, the terminal rate as they call it, the final rate, and fingers crossed for that for next year. So far looking very good for the markets there. All right, I think the markets can probably handle 5.5%. It's causing problems in the property market, the real economy and stuff like that. So that's still playing out. And then we may, I'd be a bit more nervous about the stock market entering into the sometime in the first quarter of next year. So that's a question mark over the stock market there. And the correlation relationship to crypto, also an issue despite having the Bitcoin ETF. So that's also a question mark. So we'll just have to see how the information flows into that. All right, let's get into crypto. So moving from stocks to crypto. So stocks looking bullish outlooks. Crypto obviously looking bullish too, with the outlook for the BTC ETF, so exchange traded fund. We got Bitcoin there at 34,780, pretty much flat today. But man, it has had some really nice movements recently. So we're going to talk about that in the Bitcoin chart. We're at Ethereum there, up at almost 2%. So nice move on Ethereum today, showing a bit of strength. Remember, it really hasn't done too much other than sort of follow Bitcoin. It's at $1,836. We're waiting for altcoin season. Obviously, Bitcoin driving higher is helping with that. But maybe it will be until we get to 37, 38K or even 40K before we see Ethereum really start to move, and then all the other altcoins. So that's kind of the play there. We've seen a little bit of movement there in Arbitrum. It's up 7.5%. What else is looking kind of good? Lido is up as well, up 8.7% on Lido. And apart from that, everything's sort of low percentages, a bit of mixed results across the board there. All right, that leads us into Bitcoin. And of course, we're going to our Bitcoin map here on Coinbase. And Wind of Opportunity continues on really with nothing holding it back, really. And of course, we've got a small little issue around the budget stopgap there. You know, the typical clash between the Republicans and the Democrats, between the Congress and the House. We talked about that yesterday, so I'm not going to go into all that. If you want to watch that commentary, check out yesterday's video. I went into that pretty full. Let's go to the meeting. So expecting a no change for the Fed. So good news there. And of course, the BTC ETFs approved potentially at the earliest at the end of this year, and that is from Galaxy Mike Novogratz, who talked about that, who's actually got one of the 12 applications going through. So whether it comes at the end of the year, or which would be beautiful for our rally, or whether it comes in the new year, which may be quite good, especially if crypto decides that, stock market decides to have a big correction. You know, some people are calling 60% correction on crypto, on stock market once it happens. So 60% correction, that's some people talking about that. Some people are talking about 30-40%, which is, pretty big as well. Anything of like those magnitudes is pretty big. You know, typically a correction would be like 10%, or 20%, you really getting up there. So that's still wild card there for next year. So we'll see. So that's kind of play there. And of course, we've got the Bitcoin halving as well, coming up in the 17th of April there. So everything looking pretty good for stock market and crypto. The only little hiccup here, perhaps the budget stopgap. And like I said to you, maybe they'll just get it extended to the middle of January, as Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, indicated, despite the clashes there. All right, so that is looking pretty good. We're going to jump over to some of the news around Bitcoin, the Bitcoin outlook. So we've about a week ago, I talked about outlooks of up to $150,000 to $180,000 for Bitcoin in the next rally, and of course that heavily driven on the Bitcoin ETFs, and then to a smaller degree the Bitcoin halving in April. But of course, Tom Lee's fund strat manager is talking about 150K. There's many other analysts that were talking about 150K, maybe even up to 180, and that's the play there. Bitcoin's price could reach 47,000 by the end of November. That's this month. And this is another piece of analysis. I thought I'd bring this up. So obviously we had a great month in October, and we're looking at potentially a really nice month in November. And I feel like it's there. It definitely feels like it's very probable. Bitcoin's price could reach 47,000 by the end of November, according to Rachel Lynn, co-founder of the multi-chain decentralized exchange Sin Futures. Last week has cemented October's reputation as Uptober, with Bitcoin witnessing nearly a 29% increase in value, Lynn said in the statement shared with the block. And of course, even more interesting is that when we look at historical data, November tends to be given even better. I just realized my views, the old one there. We're going to move that around. And even more interesting is that when we look at historical data, November tends to be even better than October, and with an average return of over 35% in Bitcoin. If this November were to deliver similar returns, we could see Bitcoin reach about 47,000, and that would definitely put us in the altcoin season. We should definitely have Ethereum and the altcoins trigger for that, and we could see some big price rises where we get into some of those double-digit days in a row. That would be pretty neat. Beyond the price increase, the crypto market is also witnessing a rise in the number of users and transactions, according to Lynn, a further positive sign of the ecosystem. So I think that's pretty cool. The bull party continues. Particularly noteworthy is a spike in spot volume, with a marked increase in large transactions exceeding $100,000. This is a clear indicator of heightened institutional interest as big players are seemingly consolidating their positions in digital assets, specifically Bitcoin. Lynn said, if we look at the last week's asset inflow, we can see a massive increase with nearly 325 million flowing into the sector. Almost 300 million have went into Bitcoin. Option data also reflects the bullish market mood. As of November the 3rd, the top two options with the largest open interest are 40,000 December call and the 45,000 December call. Even the 50,000 December call option has over 5,000 BTC open interest. This suggests a large number of people are willing to bet that Bitcoin will be significantly higher in 2 months than what it is today. While short-term relative strength in index momentum indicators reaching overbought levels is a negative sign, the long-term perspective looks bright. So that's pretty cool. So we're pretty excited about where this is heading as well. So I think that's kind of bullish for Bitcoin as well. So we've got bullishness for stock market leading into Christmas, bullishness for the crypto market, which really hasn't had its run, right? So stock market's already had quite a bit of run. And so good news for crypto lining up with the stars here. And of course, we've got Bitcoin halving in April as well. So we've got 2 nice, cool events there. So that leads us into Pulsechain, which is also looking pretty bullish. Obviously, Pulsechain should benefit from an altcoin run. And of course, being really the best chain out there, right? I mean, come on, we're not biased, but that is true. We've got the big rollout of projects rolling out nonstop, over 180 of them. And, we've got the best community. So there we go. We got day 175 results. And of course, we're at quadruple 062. Quadruple 062 on the Pulse, down 2.2% today at 62% of the mean sacrifice price. PulseX there at quadruple 0184, currently at 18.5% of the mean sacrifice price, down 2.6%. We've got the one Pulse at the moment. We get 3.36 PulseX. So definitely PulseX has got relatively stronger over the last couple of weeks versus Pulsechain. And the buy and burn continues to go up there. And this is part of the superiority of Pulsechain, PulseX versus Ethereum and Uniswap or PancakeSwap or anything else like that, with a big buy and burn. So it's kind of cool. And all the tokens are out at the beginning, so it's just the amount of tokens is shrinking as we go into time. And of course, the 535, almost 536 billion PulseX is being bought and burnt. That is now 2.6% of the public supply. And of course, we're almost coming up to 6 months, aren't we? Day 175. So, I don't know, was it day 183 or something like that? 180 is typically 6 months, but 183 or something. And so, if you double that, that's what's that? That's 5.2% is the run rate there. Now, obviously, if the price rises, then we'll obviously that makes you less burn. But if the price rises, we'll attract more capital and more users. And so it's probably going to be a good number there, 5.2% in the year. Pretty amazing. So that takes it off the supply. And then you bring in like Power City Earn Protocol, you collateralize PulseX, and you get even more off the supply, and therefore you start lifting the demand, and away it goes, right? That's what you want. It's a bit like a seesaw, goes, and bull mode for Pulsechain. We've also got the incentive token there, $1.07, down 4% at the moment. The ratio is definitely moving down, 17,341 for per incentive token. We got well over 15 million incentive tokens in existence, and the buy and burn just under 113,000 from the TRX protocol there as well. And once again, I can't say enough. I'm excited about TYCZ coming. Binance DeFi, DeFi Binance. It is going to be pretty awesome in the new year. We're going to talk about that later on. Really is capturing my imagination, that one. PHEX at the moment, 1.45 cents, down 4%. EHEX is at 0.087. And of course, the combined price is 2.32 cents. So pretty similar to yesterday. Although just slightly down from our little rally that we had yesterday as well. One PHEX will buy you 234 Pulse at the moment, and one PHEX will buy you 1.67 EHEX at the moment. That's kind of the ratios. Let's jump over to the charts though, and this is our chart on the daily. Let me auto log this. Bam, there we go. And we can see that we had an awesome rally. We got up to very attractive quadruple 0.755, and then came back down, bounced on the 50% mark on the Bollinger Bands, and up we came, looking very bullish. Had a bit of a profit taking day today, and we're down at quadruple 0196. But we did have a nice little rally up there earlier too. Where else are we going to go? The RSI is pretty cool. Cooling off there at 61. It was overheated when we had that big rally, got overheated in the overbought territory. Anything over 70 is kind of in the overbought territory. And we come back down almost back to the 50. And we're now at 60 there. So just cooling off for maybe that next move up. Fingers crossed, everything looking good. So that's kind of that for that. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. But, more room to move. We've got to get back to the mean price, the sacrifice price, which is also the pre-SEC price of 0001000. To do that, we need to just continue on, and that would be a 62% gain from here, 62%. So there we go, folks. We'll probably get there pretty quickly. Probably look something like this maybe. Yeah. But as you saw in that commentary, sharp move up, it typically comes down. Whereas if you have a nice 45-degree angle, you can sort of zigzag up and go up forever. So that's the kind of thing. And of course, we see these parabolas in the crypto. So if you are in a project, this is a little outtake. If you are in a project and you see the prices go straight up, and you think, oh, it's going to go forever, it's more likely to come down. So remember, take profits at the top of that move and wait for it to come back down, right? So there's a little bit of outtake there. All right, let us get into Pulsechain. Similar sort of formula there, looks pretty similar. Similar bounce off the 50% on the Bollinger Bands. Pretty much it, and also had a bit of a pullback over 2 days rather than 1 day like Pulsechain. So at least Pulsechain ended up green. Today it is red. We've got about 4 minutes left in today's candle, and of course we've got more work to do compared to Pulsechain. More work to do to get back to the pre-SEC price, which is not the same as the sacrifice price, which is 70% back to the SEC price, which was quadruple 0313. But to get back to the mean price, look at that, it's up there in that yellow bar. I have to drag that yellow bar along. That is even higher, and if you're willing to be patient, that is potentially some mad gains there. 440% back to the mean price there. So if you're willing to be patient, that could be definitely there. Not financial advice, of course, but away we go. And Phantom token at the moment is $1.07, and we're going to look at the ratio of that too. Let's have a look there. So yeah, all-time lows there, 17,334. 17,341 is the ratio now. One Phantom tokens to 17,341 Pulse. That's down 4% on that one. And of course, let's go to Pulsechain and have a look at the farms. These are the yields on Pulsechain at the moment. The Pulse X Pulse farm is at 7.23% APR. There's $32.3 million in there at the moment. Hex Pulse is 9.35%. There's $25 million US in there at the moment. Those are the two Richard Hart pools. And of course, then we've got the bridge and stuff from Ethereum, bridge DAI, USDC, and USD Tether versus Pulse. And that is 58%, 57%, and 60% respectively. USD Tether there having a nice little premium on that. And of course, you can see there's 16 million, and 6 million, and 5.8 million respectively for DAI, USDC, and USD Tether. Leaves us wrapped ETH bridged in from Ethereum is a 32.58% APR with a 10.7 million in liquidity. Now, you guys know every so often I like to bring up the Pulsechain farms just to remind us of what the rates are. I don't bring them up every day, but those are the rates today. All right. You can also go and provide your own in the pools, right? That don't have trading peers that don't have farms. You can also go provide liquidity in those. Some of them have pretty high APRs. You just go to the info tab, go to the Ellipsis info tab, and you should be able to see the pool if they populate there. Sometimes they don't populate because I've opened up so much stuff, but for you, they probably work. All right, that is that on that. All right, so we're going to close out of that. Obviously, we're waiting for cool things like potentially the Pulsechain DAO, single-sided staking potentially, limit orders potentially, all those things, and of course the liquid loans protocol, which is going to collateralize Pulse, and also the Power City Earn protocol, which is going to collateralize Pulsechain. That could have a big impact on some of these things, and of course third-party projects as well could also play a role. And maybe we get a Heart Wallet announcement at some stage in the future, maybe post-November. We will see. Things like that could play up. All right, that leads us into PHEX. PHEX at the moment, obviously similar looking chart, but of course, a slightly more bullish in some ways. We didn't get to the 50 on the Bollinger Band, but we did bounce back at 61.8 on the Fibonacci, and we've managed to climb back there as well. How much further to the much further to the pre-SEC price? Well, 35%. So it's not a big ask in crypto, is it, to get back 35%? And that's kind of where we are at the moment. And the RSI at the moment is just cooling off a bit. So we're down at 63 at the moment. So it was a little bit overheated. I guess that we could have had a double top in there, but a little bit overheated there. And we're just cooling off. This is probably going to be better in the long term. And we'll see how we get on today. We've got a brand new day. You can see that candle's just occurred. We've got a brand new day there, looking good. Now, I have added the MACD there, so I'm going to talk about that more in the future as well, but not today. There we are. That is PHEX. EHEX, of course, very volatile, more volatile, but maybe it does the parity play. At the moment, it is at 008676, and maybe it's going to try at some stage to try and get parity like it did the last time, get parity with PHEX, which is currently at 1.45 cents at the moment. So that is kind of where that is at. But of course, this price at the moment is pretty much the same price as the pre-SEC price on the old EHEX. So not doing too bad there at all. All right, that leads us into the combined price of PHEX and EHEX here on investex.io. And we've got the price there at 2.3 cents. You know, last high there was back at 2.7 cents there. That's kind of our last high. And of course, our big claim to fame back on the 25th of October when we had that big rally was we got to 3 cents, which is awesome combined. This is kind of where we are now on the hourly chart. These are hourly candles. That is pretty much it on them. All right, let's jump out of those charts and get back into the results for the validators. We've got the validators there, 48,851 validators. Pulsechain is the people's chain, and you can see that we're pretty much at all-time highs for that. We've got 1.56 trillion Pulse off the market, which is about just over 10% of the market is off the market. You know, Pulse is off the market, not being able to be sold. And of course, we're waiting for liquid loans, as I say, to help collateralize Pulse and get a whole ton more off the market as well, especially for the big whales and stuff. Hopefully they use that protocol. It's going to be bullish, more bullish. It's like your own Federal Reserve and you mint your own financial dollars, basically. All right, so that's kind of cool. Looking at the gas prices. Oh, wow, super cheap today. Super cheap today. We were doing okay for the last couple of days at 500,000 beats. Today we're at 370,000 beats as we're covering it live. And we're 0.7 of a penny for a Pulsex swap, 500th of a penny for a Pulse coin transfer, and 1/10 of a penny for a PRC20 transfer, and super cheap at the moment. So for those of you, wink, wink, that are out there minting your what is it, your PZNFTs or anything like that, and this is the time to do it. That's pretty much it. All right, not financial advice. 1197X there, cheaper than Ethereum at the moment, so look doing really well. A swap on Uniswap at the moment is $8.25, so we're super cheap and super awesome. 3,500 times cheaper than Bitcoin, which is just showing we're absolutely mega awesome on Pulsechain. And of course, on Pulsechain, you get all these projects. You got the big project roadmap, over 100 projects, and you've got super cheap costs. And of course, the compound protocols work well on Pulsechain. They don't work very well on these expensive chains. They are really, really bad, especially for the retail book, you know. So kind of cool. That is where we're at. So that's day 175. We're going to be starting day 176. We're going to move on, though, into the second category. We've covered rich heart tokens. Let's go to PRC20s. We're going to go, I'm not going to go too much in this, but we got PDI there at 0005. So that's just come back 6%. Wrap Bitcoin, which is probably one of the more interesting ones, is at $93.32. So that's just come down from being over $100 there. That is the Wrap Bitcoin. Everything else is pretty much down. Pepe is up. Pepe the meme coin's up 10%. Let's a quick look at that. Let's see if it does, whether it does eventually benefit from the 9-inch meme dex. We will see. That is where we've got an update on the old Pepe. That's definitely a speculative play for that. And of course, what else is doing well? Pulse Bitcoin there is up 4% there. Let's see what else is up there. Yeah, Pepe, like I say, is up. Yeah, pretty much Pepe is up there across the board on the top PRC20s that I've got on my custom list. Moving to meme coins, I think. Are we going to go meme coins? Yep, meme coins, our third category, sorted by liquidity, of course. We've got where did ETH go down 21%. Wow, now that's performed like a boss, isn't it? That's been a pretty good call, and that's been performing pretty well. Let's go to the daily. On this one, that's the daily chart there for where the ETH go. Let's go 4 hourly, actually, probably a bit more interesting. We had all these rises up here and doing pretty well. So let me just scroll that down, auto log that. So we actually got up to the top of the move here at a very exciting $3.16 here on the 4 hourly. And of course, on the hourly, you can see that back here. We had that spike up to $3.19. Amazing. So we're currently at $2. So it's a bit of profit taking going here. Obviously, we're expecting the 9-inch farms to launch. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And how else? The Mega's down 3%. Axis Alive is down 6%. Reflux is down 14%. Hex Orange Address is actually up 20%. So that's is that ABITS one? Yep. And I've got a nice little green candle in there. Let's see how that's looking. Not too bad, is it? Look at that log there. We'll get rid of that. So that is the Hex Orange Address doing not too bad. 70k liquidity, up 20%. The other course one we've talked about, where the ETH go. Paul Pleb is down 15%. These ones here have just sitting humming around. I guess they're waiting for the farms. I don't think they've launched yet. They're going to be on the 4th. Remember, probably UTC or UTC time, something like that, or US time. That is the play on that. I'm on the wrong chart there. I accidentally jumped over to Pulsechain. And of course, the other one is Pulse Dodge, which is down 7% at the moment. And that is the chart there on the 4-hourly. That's a 4-hourly chart. So the last couple of 4-hour periods just come down. We've got a obviously brand new one there from the looks of it. On the hourly, that is the chart there. So we actually had a little rally on the news of the farms being on the 4th of October. They went from 0047 or something like that. I think it was in here somewhere. And they actually rallied on that news, got to 0062. We're back down at 0056 now for Pulse Dodge. So that's pretty much it on those ones. Just looking at anything else. No, that's pretty much it. Our final category is Pulsechain projects. Let's quickly look at that. Sorted by liquidity. This is our main category, of course. These are where a lot of the value gets added onto Pulsechain in a more sustainable, longer way, outside of meme coins and popular coins. So we've got 9-inch there is down 3%, up 3%, 9 inches on Pulsechain, and up 10% on Ethereum for 9-inch. BBC is up 17% on Ethereum there too, but is actually down 10% on the Pulsechain side at 41 cents for BBC. We're going to talk about that again. What else is going there? PLN, Pulse LN, one of our on-ramps through the Lightning Network and BNB and stuff. That is up 13%. Let's have a quick look at that. There's very small liquidity on this, however, but that's a nice little green day there for PLN. And people like that service. Apparently, people really enjoyed that service. What else? Holy there from the TRH protocols up 17%, and Seed is up 21%. So a nice little rebound for the TRH protocols. And that's pretty much it at the moment. So if we look at by the best, if we sort by best, you can see that summation there. Those are our leaders today amongst the projects. Here's our losers, biggest losers. Communist, which was our biggest winner, was it yesterday? Is our biggest loser today. That's pretty much it. Affair is down 10% too. Beetroot down 8%. And remember, beetroot's got a lot of cool stuff coming, like sugar beet and that. Or is it sugar root? Yeah, I forgot now. But that's pretty much it on that. Let's have a quick one more look at. We're going to go 9-inch and have a look at the tokens. So really, the best performer is the Ethereum chain today, up 17% for BBC and up 10% for 9-inch. Which is underpriced, I think, anyway. So that's probably makes sense. Let's go to the 9-inch DEX here. Of course, this is what we were waiting for on the 4th, October the 4th. That's what we're waiting for. I don't know exact time, but that's what we're waiting for there. And of course, the Hexibus ecosystem coins will soon be added to the DEX. And of course, that's what we're waiting for farming and so forth. So let's have a look at the update that we're expecting. Here we go. There's the farms that we're expecting. We're expecting farms and single-sided staking for where the ETH go, Paul Pleb, Pulse Dodge, and both chains. Now, this is like day 5 plus 3 or something. It's like the days are really off, man. But day 5, this is day 5 plus 3 or whatever. So, it's about 3 days delay or something. But we've got single-sided staking for Pulsex expected as well. So, presumably that's going to come. Single-sided staking for Hex, EHEX, and DBI on Ethereum, and EHEX, PHEX farm on Pulsechain. Now, are these 3 going to come out actually on this day with where the ETH go, Paul Pleb, and Pulse Dodge? Don't know. It's supposed to. But like I said, this update here didn't include any of those. So are they delaying those? I don't know. We'll find out. So that's pretty much it. The farms at the moment are going pretty good, I guess. After they recovered there, we've got the yields here, 300, 400, 500, 600%, depending on which one you're going to be in. And of course, you've got the single-side staking pools for 9-inch and BBC, really filling up there. A lot more 9-inch and BBC's gone into those. And you've now got the APRs in there, which is pretty cool. So the APRs here, presumably this APR is correct. No, there's pretty big percentages on there. So if that's correct, that's amazing, especially given how much 9 inches in there. So yeah, a question mark over those APRs there, at least for this one's here. All right, let us go over to. That's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, the burns. Let's have a quick look at the burns. 360 million burned through 9 inch here. And now I noticed the TVLs have dropped significantly. This TVL was showing at 25 mil. I guess that's because you know, the main token there, 9 inch has probably fallen quite a bit. So let's have a look at that. 9 inch here. Oh, it's the wrong one. Sorry, my bad. Let's go to 9 inch pulse, and we'll have a look at that quickly. That is the 9 inch token there. So we obviously had a big, nice rally, and we've come all the way back to quadruple 028. Now, this price down here, I believe, is the sacrifice level. So it's all the way back down here at around about 1567, which is pretty much where they started the price. And so that would suggest that if that's correct, and I believe it is, that would be the premium that people have still got even with the pullback in the market. So, you know, that's kind of cool. Which is what gain is that? Let's have a look. That gain is, you know, a 78% gain still. But of course, there's also the Ethereum side as well. So you add in that value also. So that's kind of the play there. Let's go back and see whether we've got anything out from the team here else other than that. Nothing really. So that is pretty much it on that. So keep a lookout for that. It could launch anytime. That is pretty much that there. 360 million has been burned of 9 inch so far, which is pretty good, I think. I'm not sure what the Ethereum chain is. Let's have a quick look at the Ethereum chain. 93 million burned through there at the moment. So cool, not too bad. It seems to show similar, a TVL 13 million there. All right, that brings us into a non-Pulse chain project, but we're going to check it out anyway because it is TitanX. This is from Jake Sharp, who does do Pulse chain coverage, obviously Pulse chain X and things like that, but also covers other projects like Zen and TitanX. And so I do too on Superman Crypto, but not here on Hex Token channel. But this one here is pretty interesting. Obviously, this is trying to be a combination of all those projects. So this is kind of the play here. So basically, the idea is that you can start a miner, and the max period is 280 days. You can do max power as well, 100 there. If you do max power, it impacts the amount of Ethereum that you have to do. But let's assume that you max it all out. So 280 days, you're going to get some TitanX tokens. Then it's going to cost you 0.2 ETH, and that's pretty much standard there, which is about $368 at the moment. So that's the play. Now, obviously, you get early adoption amplifier, boom bonus, etc. And every day it ticks over, and it gets you get a worse rate every day, basically. The difficulty increases, so getting in early always plays better. And of course, you'll get that big volume at the moment. So I think it's about just under 1.7 billion tokens you'll get in 280 days if you maxed out that mana. Obviously, you can also do batch miners, so you can do a whole ton of them together. 10 times 280 with the power of 100, so you can get way more than that. So if you did 10, that's going to cost you what, $3,700, but you'll get 17 billion or something. Something like that. So not bad. The second feature is staking, of course. You can stake your Titan. Obviously, there's not much Titan out there, relatively speaking, because it's only been going for 7 days or 6 days and 6 days and 20 hours, 23 hours, something like that. But 6 days and 17 hours, I should say. But anyway, you can stake your Titan. You can either buy it off the market, or you could have minted short. Minting shorts, not very profitable. You'd be out of the money, probably 30-40% because the price crashed. But you can buy it off the market and stake it. And of course, you get your T-shares there as well. Longer pays better, all that sort of stuff. Now, the payouts, why would you do that? You stake because you want to get these payouts. The payouts at the moment, they roll on an 8-day rolling. So every 8 days, you're going to get a payout on the 8-day rollout. It's not just one off. It's every 8 days. Whatever people do in terms of going to mining out new inflation, and look at it that way, they mine out new inflation, and then the payouts there you're going to get relative to that. Now, relative to the shares, obviously there's more inflation coming out. People doing short mining, which is not really that profitable, but if they do that, then they can stake, and that will mean there's more shares in total. So you will get diluted over time with the payouts, relatively speaking. But then, of course, you're getting more ETH coming into the pool too. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But any case, the 8-day payout's got $1 million in it at the moment, and of course, it's almost a payout time. 88% the way through, so it's almost about to be paid. That is tomorrow, and basically you have to get yourself staked today to get the access to the very first payment. there's 7 hours to go. So that's pretty much how that's working. And of course, you'll get that. Now, then it's going to reset, and whatever ETH comes into mining, it's going to go into the next 8 days and get distributed along all the pools. The other pool that gets paid out is the 28-day cycle. So it's going to repeat every 28 days. So whatever people are putting in that ETH miner, they're going to, get a percentage of that based on the shares. So obviously, as time goes on, people are going to more stakes. There's going to be more shares. So you'll get diluted, relatively speaking, but of course, you still get higher payouts because people have to mine inflation. So that's kind of a give or take. So we're going to see how that goes. It is an experiment after all. Then, of course, they've got a 90-day cycle, a 369-day cycle, etc. So you actually entitled to some of this if you're staking from all these cycles and on a repeated basis. So that could be pretty interesting. They also have a buy and burn, which is the main thing, right? 62% of all the ETH that goes in through the miners ends up going to the buy and burn. There's currently $8.8 million in there. Wow. That's a big treasury to go and buy and burn. It's random too, and it buys up a lot of ETH there. So pretty crazy. The other thing, of course, is that the payout is about, I think it's 28% on the payouts. I think that's right. Let me see global payout here. Yeah, I think it's about 28% or something. And then, of course, there's a 7% that goes to another burning feature as well. So that's kind of the play there at the moment. There's 435 billion TitanX in existence after, just under 7 days, and with 305 billion staked. Now, what I noticed over the last 24 hours leading into this major day where you have to get staked to get the payments on the payment thing is that that it's gone up dramatically. So I actually took some snapshots just to track that, to see how that works, because it's pretty interesting, right? I always like it when new protocols come out with tokenomics that are trying to be the next big thing, and it's always good to see what they've got set up. So let me open this up here. So the beginning of the day, so about 17 hours ago or something, the amount was 402 a billion liquid. Now it's 435. But the staked, and this is the key bit here, the staked was 191 billion about 17 hours ago. It's now 306. So we're getting, this is the final day, you got to get staked. So we've seen a massive increase of about 113 billion in the last 17 hours. So it's been a massive rush to stake. Basically, that's the main point of this coverage. And of course, the buy and burn has been active too. It's random, remember, so it's not supposed to be controlled. And that has gone from 21 billion to 40 billion. So there's been quite a lot of buying and burning on the market too. So that's pretty interesting. So that's kind of the play there. That's kind of a quick overlay. Now, the cool thing is that they do have a calculator, so you can estimate your mining value, and you also can estimate your staking value too if you stake. And of course, they have the max length of 3,500 days, but actually 2,888 days is you'll get the same rate there. That's the max share rate there that you'll get. Holding it to up to 3,500 days, this means you're kind of holding that share rate through to that period. But that's kind of the play there. That is the max length. If you want to get the most shares, 288.8 is the minimum there that you have to do. Now, obviously, the shorter, then your percentage of the global shares will go down here. And this is your expected payout at the moment based on 1 billion. So if you did 1 million, that is your basic payout. $4.57 is the cost at the moment on the market. $3.92 would be your first payout. But remember, that's going to roll over every 8 days. So that could accumulate quite nicely with new miners coming in. So we'll find out how this goes. It's pretty interesting. Hopefully that's a good summary for many of you that may have not have covered it at all. This is on Ethereum, and maybe Jack Sharp, who is a Pulsechain influencer, he covers a lot of other projects. Maybe he will bring that to Pulsechain too. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does that. I'm not sure if he's mentioned that at all, but it'd be pretty interesting. Now, there is some other secret source to this coming out in about 3 or 4 months, and that's going to be fascinating. I'll probably talk about that on another day, but there is a secret source coming out in 3 or 4 months, so that could be pretty interesting with the market price as well. So let's have a quick look at the market prices to wrap up the TitanX coverage, which is kind of just an overview because it's a big day today for that system. Let's go to TitanX price here. This is the price at the moment. Let me just full screen this, and bam. What we got here? Let's go to get rid of the RSI. Let's auto log that. This is the chart here. So I've been mapping this out. And obviously, you can see day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. And of course, day 8 is the first ever payday for stakers. And you can see at the moment, we actually had a nice little price rise here. That would have been quite of that buying and burning mechanism would have been playing a role in here. and pushed the price up here, and now it's down here at the moment. So people that have done short minings, they're all out of the money, right? So the majority of them are out of the money. Unless you were a one-day miner, you were pretty much out of the money most of the time. At least anywhere under, yeah, probably if you only did it 1 day or 2 day, you're probably out of the money. So only the people that first day made mad gains. Everybody else that did short-term mining probably got wrecked there. But you can take that, of course, and stake it, right? And then get part of the big payday there. And that will probably minimize some of your things. But of course, we had that massive increase into staking, which is not over yet. Still 7 hours to go before people can get in to qualify for that payday. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And of course, then continued minting after that. But that is where the chart is at the moment. And of course, there are 7. You can see up the time up here, there is just under 7 hours to go. And we'll probably see a continued rush into staking for this. And then, of course, this number will go up. And we'll see this number probably go down. But there's more mints coming out today as well during the next 7 hours. And so that number will be increased. So it'll be interesting to see what big rush we get at the end of 7 hours. And, of course, then the big payday, the first payday to be paid out. So going to be interesting to watch it. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick review of TitanX there from Jake Sharp on the Ethereum chain. And hopefully it comes to Pulsechain. That'd be quite cool. That brings us into the Hex Daily Stats. Before we do that, though, let's get into the chat and find out who else is here, because I've been talking quite a bit there. What else? Rob Patrick says, I went to mint CST this morning, but transfer got stuck. Second time that's happened to me. Hopefully the team has sorted that out for you. We got Brennan in the house there. Howdy, folks. Good to see Brennan. Food TV as well. Hello. How are you, Suit Man? I'm very good, thanks. Sunny day outside. I'm going to probably get active out there after the live stream. TJ and house there, much love to our Pulsechain community. We are the true definition of defiance. Yes, absolutely. We are indeed. Hello, all. Exciting times around the corner. I feel like that too. George Tucker, what's up, guys? Good to see you, George. Brendan says, ETH getting some traction. I know. That's pretty interesting, that the ETH is starting to move in price. I thought it was pretty good insight today. Hex Evader, hey, gang. Good to see you. Andrew Reynolds, g'day, everybody. Brendan says altcoin season leading into the end of fourth quarter. Yeah, it looks like that. November looks like it's going to be good. October looked good, so fingers crossed. Humberto says, yo, Chesapeake Man, RH family from Tame, Colombia. Good to see you, Humberto. Let me jump through some of those comments. Pulse Baser says, Pulsechain is the future. Many people have a 8-year plan. Pulse all the way. I like what you did there. Tintop as well. What's up? Hexagons, good to see you, Tintop. Who else is here? Let's jump. We got Thoschild's in the house there. Hey, Thoschild's, sup, y'all? Good to see you in the chat there. Another influencer in the house. Yeah, now, long time, sir. Yes, and Squared. Now it's Squared. Like that. Let's see who else is here. Jump through some of those. It's happened to me before from Coast. They have to wait for the devs to go on and fix the transfer. Cool. Well, at least they can fix it. Let me see what else here. Christian in the house here. Make sure that they use the treasure suite. Yep, there's a treasure update. It's stuck on the Coast site when minting. Nice one there, Rod. Get into our Discord, Rod. That's a good question, good conversation for Discord. Not so much for the chat on live stream. Thanks, Superman's Pudding Guru says you're welcome. We got Bill Mott in the house as well. The thumbs up, nice. Yeah, smash the like button if you're watching, and definitely if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you love Pulsechain content every day. We're gonna get into the Richard Hart update now. Should we do that? I think so. It's time. It's time. We say. All right. So hex.com, folks, check it out. Links in the video description. And of course, things have changed. Hex has gone full DeFi mode. And of course, you never go full DeFi mode. No, that's not true. Richard Hart's gone full DeFi mode for Hex.com, and the front end has been changed. So let's go to Richard Hart here. Decentralized robustness and privacy are core principles of real blockchains. As you guys know, Pulsechain is leading the DeFi revolution. And of course, go.hex.com is a list of links to ways you can run your own hex code that you choose. So now, instead of having a centralized front end from the Richard Hart team, you now have you can do it, host it yourself on your own computer, or you can use third-party options there. There's no interactivity, logs, forms, emails, phones, etc. Your privacy is your power. And of course, Richard came out with a audio that he did on Telegram, I think from the 2nd November, and I posted that on this chat. You can definitely see that, but we're going to listen to Richard Hart a bit about that. Before we do, though, we can see that this is the front end for go.hex.com. So there's no more staking platform there, but you can do it yourself. So pretty cool. Decentralization, robustness, and privacy are core principles of real blockchains. Now, this may or may not impact onboarding because you want easy use for onboarding, but it is kind of that step to full DeFi for Hex. And of course, you can do other things there. There's the IPFS. There's community sites. For most of you, you'll probably just use that. See, it's got an OR in here. You can either use this or community sites. I actually like Icosa. GoPulse is offering as well. AppHex, Backup Hex, Hex Crypto, HexChart, Etherscan. So you can directly interact with the Hex code on Etherscan and do it that way with Web3. But Icosa is really good from Alex McFerder. So what you can play around with those. But we use Icosa for hedge on Icosa anyway. And you can manage hex stakes in there too. It's got some of the basic features that you need. You can also obviously run it from your desktop. You can run it on any of these windows. You just have to download these files and set it up, and you can run the old classic go.hex.com front end. So that is from Richard there. Very cool tweet. So I'm going to post that in the chat there if you haven't seen that already. But that is from Richard. So Hex front end. And you can run it yourself on your own computer, which should be pretty easy, I think. So that is it there. Bam, bam, bam. Hex front end. Nice. What else we got going? Join the Discord there. That's the link to the Discord. Cool. Sorry, Superman. I was just replying to questions. That's all good, Rod. No problem. I was just making a comment that is probably better for the Discord. All right. Let's move on to that. So let's hear from Richard Hart about this big move, which is all this here. The front end is gone. Now you can set up your own one. And of course, you've got 3 options there. But like I say, most of you will probably use either community sites or run it from your desktop there as opposed to an IPFS. Yeah, you can get into that. Let's hear from Richard. This is a little excerpt out of his audio that he did on Telegram. I posted the full audio on the channels on Superman Crypto, Pulsechain, YouTube, and Hex Token last night. So you've been able to watch those. But let's listen to Richard about this update.
But I do it because I care. And it's making a difference. It's making an impact. It is working. And if I died right now, you might have noticed that go.hex.com is a collection of links to code that you can run a bunch of different ways. Why is that? Why is go.hex.com a collection of links to software that you can run? Because it's your choice. You choose what code you're going to run on your computer. You chose what people you're going to communicate with. You make all the choices. You have all the power, and you have all the privacy. Even if you want to be stupid and give your privacy away, you can't. There's no contact us form. There's no email. There's no phone number. There's no way for you to de-anonymize yourself. There's no way for you to throw your privacy in the garbage. There's no logs. There's no Google Analytics. You can double-click a zip file and run the code from your desktop. You can view the source online. You can go to IPFS and see the hash of the compiled source and see it on different gateways, or run your own gateway or access it natively on the IPFS network. You can, there's so many ways that you get to be in control. And why is that important? Because if I die and Hex.com goes offline and Pulsechain.com goes offline, it doesn't matter. Now, I think that I won't be able to make the world a better place anymore if I'm dead. It's unfortunate. But your ability to run the code that you want won't be impacted. Because you have the code. You have the power. You are the network. It only exists because you will it into existence through your communication with your peers, your association with your peers, a truly decentralized, open source, peer-to-peer network. It's nice to brag about all the things that we're involved with and that, I've invented or founded that just work better than other things. So for instance, yesterday or the day before, Uniswap went down. Why? Because some Cloudflare thing went down. Well, PulseX didn't go down. Now, why is that one part bad for Uniswap, one part good for Uniswap. One part bad because, hey, it'd be nice if your website just didn't go down. Hex doesn't go down. Pulsechain doesn't go down. To the best of my knowledge, neither Hex nor Pulsechain has ever been down. Ever.
All right, so that was a little excerpt out of the full audio. You can watch it on, like I say, Hex Token, Superman Crypto, or Pulsechain YouTube. I posted that tonight, but the full, it's about 45 minutes long, the full one. But that was relevant to the update with the site for gohex.com. So feel free. Like I say, if you want to just use one that's existing, made by others, iCosa or GoPulse, something like that, it would be cool. AppHex and Backup Hex been around for a long time. And of course, Etherscan, you can do that as well. I'm not sure what these ones are that's popped up there, but yeah, or you can just run it from your own desktop and have that front end, that classic front end on your own computer and interact with the contract that way. So it's kind of neat. All right, that leads us into something else. I think, do we have anything else from Richard? I think that was it. Pretty much it. I mean, he's put out the audio. That's the audio there that I've posted on the live stream, so you can check that out from him there. And he talks about a lot of stuff around crypto on that. All right, let's get Hex Daily Stats. Day 1432, 3rd of November, on Hex on Ethereum, of course. It is at 8600th of a penny on the snapshot there, down 13.2%. And we've got the payout per T-share looking very good today, 7.3 Hex per T-share. Of course, it was 6.6 yesterday. Share rate going up again. Like I said, got to keep an eye on the share rate. It is going up, up, up and away. And by the 22nd of November this month, we're expecting that to jump a 1,400-day jump. So 1,400 Hex per T-share, 65 today. That's a pretty big one normally, but 1,400 is going to be huge. And of course, that's going to be end up being well over 32,000 by the end of the year. So get your T-shares while you can. Average mining length there, 7.04 years, 42.63% APY for existing T-share holders at the moment. Pretty amazing. T-shares down 10,000 at the moment, and we're sitting at 9,746,000 in the ownership pool. So Hex is really easy to understand. We have the reward pool with Hex in it. We have an ownership pool with T-shares in it, which stands for trillions of shares. And of course, they get all those rewards. That's pretty much it. How do you get more T-shares? Earlier pays better, that share rate's going up. Longer pays better, you get up to 20% more shares per year, up to 10 years. So it's just 200% more bonus. So that's the biggest bonus you can get. And then, of course, a bigger pays better, up to 150 million. You get up to 10% bonus on that too. So earlier pays better, bigger pays better, and longer pays better. Longer pays better is the most important out of those three. But definitely you want to get that and get more of the ownership pool, you get more of the rewards. So that's kind of the summary there. All right, lock percentage of coins, 9.37% of all Hex is locked at the moment. A massive 12.8 million in penalties. And look at the last 10 days, really, really cool. We had 11.46 million and 53.6 million. It's been a pretty good day for Hex miners. Look at that. And the reward pool's got 71.3 million Hex in that reward pool, and that the T-share miners are getting. So looking good today. Growth in numbers, up 24 liquid holders, up 2 miners today. And we're sitting at 119,840 miners on the old Ethereum chain. Looking at Pulsechain, what day did I say it was? 175, is that what I said? I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Don't want to get that wrong. 175, yeah, 175 is a day there. Instead of that day. We got the 3rd of November. The price is at 1.45 cents on the old Pulsechain, down 4.3%, so doing better than each chain today. The share rate is up 59 as well, but the payout was 6.699 today. And yesterday, we didn't get to talk about it, but it was 6.63 yesterday. So nice little payments there. And of course, the share rate up 59 to 30,250. The average mine length shorter on the Pulsechain, 6.88 years. The APY lower as well, 38%, but still pretty amazing. T-shares down even more than on Ethereum, 13,717. We got 9,808,000 T-shares. Wow, wow, wow. Now, you got to remember that used to be well over 11 million, and now that's down to 9.8 million. So that ownership pool is shrinking on both chains. And of course, if you're inside that ownership pool, you're getting more of that Hex. So, the Hex is getting more, the T-share is getting less. You know how it works. You're getting more Hex per T-share. It's going good for you as a miner. So, pretty good. All right, let's see here. Lock percentage of coins, 9.69% of Hex is locked on the Pulsechain. We got just under 1.7 million Hex penalties. We got 65.7 million Hex in that reward pool on the Pulsechain side. And of course, let's look at the growth numbers, up 54 current holders or liquid holders on the old Pulsechain there, 335,000. and current miners down 5 to 124,433. So we've seen an interesting trend lately on the Pulsechain side. We obviously had a lot of retail growth. When we go back 50 days, you can see that we're actually growing. 40 days we were growing. 20 days ago we were growing. The last 10 days we've seen a break from that trend with some down days. And I gather these are probably some large accounts with multiple accounts that have been down on the down day here because they do match with a lot of penalties and other things going on. So it's definitely doable as well. But at the moment, we've got 124,433 miners on Pulsechain, which is about, give or take 5,000 more than the ETH chain there. So what we do, we've started day 1433 on the old Ethereum chain and day 176 on Pulsechain. Those are the two measures at the moment. And of course, hex.com, check it out. Links in the video description. And if you've got any questions, get into our Discord. The link to Discord is in the video description as well. We've got a crypto helpline in there as well. The community helps and the moderator team helps without. So it's pretty special. So if you like the best information, you like getting early intel on all the projects, we're pretty much exclusively on the channel documenting the Pulsechain rollout. So get into it, folks. It's the place to be. We've got the best community, everything. Get into Discord, pretty amazing, which is kind of cool. All right. And let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the hex.com site. Don't you love that? Knight and Armor, I love that. And that is the thumbnail today, which is pretty cool. All right, Hex Knight, the Hex Knight. Let's go. All right, we've got some final comments. Let's do that. We're up to an hour and 6 minutes. We're doing pretty well on the live stream today. So let me just jump back up here. Let me have a look here. Crypto Tree says Hexaco up and to the right. Absolutely. Surely Fortress, mega pump time. It is indeed. We're going to pump. Tim Tot says, I still have go.hex.win in my bookmark, says Tim Tot. Nice. What else we got going there? Brian says, super simple to run your own. It's just a simple web page that runs locally on your computer. I showed screenshots in the Discord last night. Now, that's from Brian there. So, yeah, you can just download that third option. Just download the file onto your desktop and you can set it up yourself. So you're still not losing the go.hex front end that we all love and know. Bobfish King says, I have been doing my crypto taxes using Coinly. Dealing with the fork has been difficult. I see the advantage of fewer DGN transactions. Says Bob. Yeah. Well, Coinly is expensive too, right? Isn't it? So yeah, sometimes people just do it themselves, but definitely interesting. Obviously, we don't cover taxes because not financial advice and all that sort of stuff on this channel. So that's the way it goes. All right, let's see how we go. We'll go further down. Brendan says, "Cheers, Super. You're welcome." Crypto says he's not going to fake it. It was a good to hear Richard Hart with that 47-minute stream. He is the sounding sharp, which is bullish. X for life, says Crypto Truth. Absolutely. What else we go? Beast mode bossing, says Crypto Truth. Hey, good stuff there. If you want to get in the Discord, that's the link. Join up today. 16 cents a day, pretty good. If you want to join up as a member on Superman Crypto on YouTube, hit the join button. We've got a number of options there. And of course, if you want to join as a member of Hex Token YouTube, we've got a number of options there as well. Or you can join our Discord. We've got a different set of options there, which is pretty much 16 cents a day for all the good stuff. So it's pretty cool. Thank you, Hex Token, says Sandy Beach. Most welcome. Brian says tax equals theft. Just saying, says Brian. Yeah. All right. Yes, particularly some places are worse than others, right? Some countries, some cities, some regions are worse than others in terms of tax and theft. So, what is a reasonable tax rate versus a kind of a socialist communist tax rate? I guess that's the way you might put it. All right, let's play out some music on the way out here. Actually, let's not play music. Let's play BlackRock CEO, who's I think is really setting the tone of the next bull run. And so let's play out the BlackRock CEO. All right, peace out, everybody. Enjoy your day. I'll catch you in Discord. Bye for now.
Clients around the world about the need for crypto. I mean, when you think about, I think some of this rally is way beyond the rumor. I think the rally today is about a flight to quality with all the, all the issues around the Israeli war now, global terrorism. And I think there's more people running into a flight to quality, whether that is in treasuries, gold, or crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality.
With this report, let's start with all of the excitement slash hype slash I don't know what about the fact that not just BlackRock, but Fidelity and so many others have attempted at least or have applications in to try to get a Bitcoin ETF going. And the question is whether just because they're asking, is it going to be approved?
Yeah, it's going to get approved. We actually think, we're partnered with Invesco on an application. We think it happens this year in 2023. All the indications of dealing seem to be heading in the right direction. And that's, from
what's Mike, though, because I don't want people to, Mike, people are going to say he's talking his book. He owns a lot of Bitcoin. He wants this to happen, obviously. What would you pinpoint and specifically suggest that you're seeing around the approval process that is somehow different today than it was a year ago, than it was 2 or 3 years ago?
The most significant piece was the SEC lost in court, right? The judge had said, what are you talking about, SEC? You have a futures ETF and you're saying you can't have a cash ETF. That makes intellectually zero sense. And I think that put the SEC on the back foot. And I think Gensler needs a win. There's a tremendous amount of pressure to do something that is rational. The American public wants this. BlackRock, who's the largest asset manager in the world, is out publicly saying we're going to get this done. And it's, I can't talk specific about conversations our guys are having, and that's on the Invesco side. But talking to all the other people, it just feels like the dialogue with the SEC is all heading in the right direction.
But when you say the dialogue with the SEC, have you seen a shift, a fundamental shift in the way the SEC, anecdotally, I imagine, would have to be the only way you'd know this, has changed the approach to thinking about this in light of that lawsuit? Which is to say, Lena Khan has lost lawsuits before, in her agency at the FTC. That hasn't shifted the way she thinks about antitrust regulation in the United States.
Yeah, just the public filings back and forth and the comments you're reading online, the people's comments are much more constructive. And when you go to the comment period, what they're asking about all seems much more specific than general. And that seems to be a good sign. We'll see. I don't have a crystal ball. This is my intuition.
Right. By the way, do you have any thought on what happened during this week and how that report came about? I know that organization is planning to investigate how the report was written, but there's some people that are anxious or worried that there's manipulation at play.
The last day for the SEC to file an appeal on that suit came and went, and so there was some expectation or excitement. And Cointelegraph, I believe, put out an errant report. We were sitting on our desk thinking, I don't think Cointelegraph is going to be the person who breaks, this story. I think the SEC probably has other sources if they want to break a story. And so I was a little skeptical myself. What it does tell you is the market will head higher on any positive news, right? You're going to have Invesco's Salesforce, BlackRock Salesforce, Cathie Wood's Salesforce, Fidelity Salesforce, all out selling Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has always been an instrument that is sold, not bought, right? It's getting people in the first time, explaining to them what it is. I think by far the most bullish thing that happened was Larry Fink on TV saying, don't worry about that rumor where Bitcoin's going up because people see it as a store of value and as a flight to quality asset. That's the largest asset manager in the world. And it's no longer talking about how it works or why it's important. It's just a recognized macro asset. And that's a huge psychological shift.